Good morning, zookeepers, and welcome back. Today we're making an enclosure for the speculated bear, and this bear came to us in the Zookeepers Animal Pack. Again, I'll have to say thank you to Frontier for allowing me to have this pack and bring it to you guys. So as you can see in the background right now, I'm making a enclosure barrier. Well, not exactly the barrier for the enclosure. This is a standoff barrier. This is what stops the guests from getting too close to the actual fence of the enclosure itself. Now, I know these as moron barriers, and something I used to go to uni with used to call them the anti-natural selection barrier. And honestly, what it's there for is literally to stop guests from getting too close to the enclosure, like fence itself. It's because people, for some reason, like to try and put their fingers through enclosures or their hands to try and stroke the animals. Not exactly the smartest thing to do, but yeah. Anyways, I've taken a few photos of speculated bear enclosures and then taken the best bits that I like from those enclosures, and I've made them into my own ideas and put them into this park. And I will actually show you those photos now. And but yeah, honestly, I had a lot of fun making these fences. Obviously, I skipped through it because it's just a lot of me doing the same thing over and over again. Obviously, the wooden barrier with the metal wire going through it is basically like an electric fence style barrier, and then obviously just a normal classic standoff barrier around the outside. Anyways, as you can see just then, I've sort of landscaped the land so it's higher in the middle with a little pond, and I'm just making like a simple shelter for them if they wish to escape the rain or the weathers or the prying eyes of the public. So I make this very simple shelter. In the end, I go back to it, adding a little bit of decoration to it so it looked less vanilla and kind of somewhat slightly interesting. And then I go around adding like different rocks and things like this to this hill area so it looks like it's got some kind of structure. I am using the fake rock, which is probably one of my favorite rocks to use at this moment in time. Like honestly, I feel like it's so cool, and the fact you can change the color to pretty much whatever you want kind of really helps with different builds. And yeah, so I'm making it so it's like a cliff around the pond. A little bit later on, we'll be like structuring the pond so it looks man-made rather than just actual natural ground underneath it. And then any of the sharper hill areas, I add a load of rock again, adding that sort of structure to it, making it look kind of interesting. I just spent a long time making all these like different, like adding all the different rock. As you can see, I sped up time so then you weren't having to watch the entirety of that. And then I add a load of grass in between it. I am liking this way of actually making enclosures. Makes it feel more alive, more realistic, and then you can go around just adding whatever you want to it. I've been trying to keep the zoo somewhat of a similar theme, a similar look, so each enclosure doesn't look like completely different from one another. And honestly, this is a nice enclosure. I was really enjoying just placing down all these different grasses and different plants. Again, I love this plant I'm placing down right now. It kind of reminds me of pampas grass. I know it's not that, but once you sunk into ground a wee bit, it does feel like that. And yeah, I really love. I do enjoy the look of pampas grass, even though I'm highly allergic to that plant. I really do like the look of it. Anyways, adding a few different bushes and things like this to try and thicken it up in areas and make it look somewhat interesting. I feel like really adds to the enclosure. I don't always add a lot of flowers, but I just feel like that one corner I wanted flowers. Just make it look, pretty and pink as it were. As I do like a little bit of colour here and there because it breaks up all the greenery, but the plan wasn't to have like flowers absolutely everywhere. As much as I'd love to see that, I think it would look a bit weird. But one plant I will add everywhere is nettles, the bane of my life. So yeah, I place a fair few of those everywhere. So I decided to use the fake trees and make a very interesting climbing frame. There was one in one of the pictures where there was an actual climbing frame made with actual wood and things, but I didn't know. I couldn't find the wood I really wanted to do that with, so I used the fake trees, and then we attached the climbing poles, and just sort of do like a whole network of them to like climb and explore. Some of the climbing abilities on these fake trees look a bit interesting. I really enjoyed watching them climbing, which you'll see a little bit later on in the video itself. But yeah, honestly, this was a lot of fun making this. I'm still not 100% sure with the end result, which we'll see at the end. Like, I don't know if I want to change certain aspects to it, but honestly, it was quite fun to make. It took a while to make this. Trying to line everything up, trying to make it look like it could actually work out the way I'd want it to, adding support here and there, trying to make it out there. It was like locked in place. It wasn't loose. It wasn't dangerous. Um, Thinking about it now, looking at what I'm doing, what I could probably done is added rope on all the joints so it looks like they're all tied together. So that's maybe something I'll go back to. I really did making this little fake ladder here, making it look a bit rough and tough. I thought that was kind of an interesting look, and it suits the rest of the climbing frame style. And it's just, yeah, like I said, I really did enjoy making this, but I think I might go back to it and add in loads of different ropes to tie everything down and look like it's been tied down and extra secured. Anyways, this is what it looks like in the end, and we're just going to go around adding all the different enrichment items to the enclosure itself, so it looks nice. I didn't record, like, I've cut a fair bit off because this was already a really long video as it was. And it was pretty much me just doing the same thing. It would have been copy and paste kind of like look to it. And then I was sort of deciding how do I want the little viewing area that sort of dips in, to how decorated I wanted it. Do I do what I did with the spur tortoise and give it a roof? In the end, I just decided to make it so it's like it's got a almost like fancy like gate way into there, few planters to cover up these gaps. I did try making it so it was one solid bit of path so they could just walk up to it, but the game wasn't having it, so we made the most of it. It's like, oh yeah, we'll make this little structure, give it so it looks like it's got a little bit of like support. And honestly, I did enjoy the overall look of it in the end. It was nice, it was simple, slightly decorated, wasn't like too much. And yeah, just I thought it did the job anyways. We had the little screens, and here we go. Honestly, I had a lot of fun making this enclosure. It was really fun to make. I think I spent it was like a good hour and a half making this enclosure. I feel it was a lot of fun making it, and I'm quite happy with the look of it. Like, I think this is probably, out of the three I've done so far out of the DLC animals, I think this one's currently sitting as my favorite, as it looks very complex and interesting with the height and like the different levels and the way it put the plants, breaks up certain outlines. And yeah, honestly, the speculated bear as well, it's such a good design. It looks absolutely adorable, and the little baby cub that's running around in there looks so cute. But the speculated bear is just honestly a nice looking animal, and I feel like Frontier did a great job making this bear, and just watching it interact with different things in the enclosure, I feel like it looks really nice in this enclosure. And going back to the selected photos I was using to kind of like get ideas for making this enclosure, I feel like it all suits and all meshes together quite well. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this, and as always, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.